Hello, my name is Amy Elder. I am an LPN to BSN student at Indiana State University, and today we will be talking about binge drinking. There are a few learning objectives that the viewer should be able to accomplish by the end of this presentation. You should be able to define binge drinking, identify the at-risk populations, recognize the health risks of binge drinking, analyze how to prevent binge drinking, and identify resources and support for help with binge drinking. At this point, stop here and take the pretest to assess your knowledge about binge drinking. The pretest can be accessed by clicking the link accompanying this presentation. To begin, we're going to look at what binge drinking is. The National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism defines binge drinking as a pattern of drinking alcohol that brings the blood alcohol concentration, or BAC, to 0.08% or 0.08 grams of alcohol per deciliter or higher. For a typical adult, this pattern corresponds to consuming 5 or more drinks for a man or 4 or more drinks for a woman in about 2 hours worth of time. So who is affected by binge drinking and who is at risk? Binge drinking is most common among younger adults between the ages of 18 to 34 years old. More than half of the total binge drinks that are consumed are done by those aged 35 and older. Binge drinking is twice as common among men as it is among women. And binge drinking is more common with incomes of $75,000 or higher, or with higher education levels. Over 90% of U.S. adults who drink excessively report binge drinking in the past 30 days. And most people younger than age 21 who drink alcohol report binge drinking, often consuming alcohol in very large amounts. This is kind of outside what most people think when they think of binge drinking. They think of college parties or adolescents being out of control. But in reality, most of it is by people who are, again, over the age of 35 and who have a higher education level and make over $75,000 annually. This graph here gives a visual representation for the different age groups that actively participate in binge drinking. As you can see, the highest group is between ages 25 and 34, with a close second following of 18 to 24. This tends to fit in better with the more typical outlook of binge drinking, but when you look at the total percentages, over half of that is done by ages 35 and higher. This is a breakdown of some of the statistics surrounding ages 18 to 24 who participate in binge drinking, kind of what they say about themselves. 33% classify themselves as binge drinkers, having more than 10 drinks in one sitting. 41% say they have passed out at least once. 22% say they have passed out 5 times or more. 4% have passed out 20 times or more. 63% were more likely to have a one-night stand while drunk. And 10% of females were more likely to have a one-night stand with the other person was drunk. What are the risks surrounding binge drinking? Significant issues with poor performance at work, school, or other important areas of life. There's an increased risk of being in accidents because of alcohol on physical and cognitive functioning. Relationship issues associated with being under the influence of alcohol. There's an increased risk to become involved in legal issues, risky behavior, or to be a victim of crime. This includes violence including homicide, suicide, intimate partner violence, and sexual assault. An increased risk for the development of damage to the liver, such as cirrhosis and liver disease. An increased risk of being diagnosed with numerous forms of cancer, and an increased risk for renal issues or kidney issues. Continuing with the risks associated with binge drinking is an increased risk for menstruational issues in women and impotence in men. There's also an increased risk for sexually transmitted diseases, unintended pregnancy, or poor pregnancy outcomes. That can include low birth weights and birth defects as well. There's an increased risk for cardiovascular disorders, such as high blood pressure, heart attack, stroke. There's an increased risk for the development of neurological issues, including nerve pain, movement disorders, and dementia. There's an increased probability that one will develop cognitive issues, such as problems with memory, attention, and problem solving, and an increased risk for the development of mental health issues, such as depression, bipolar disorder, psychotic disorders, and issues with anxiety. How can binge drinking and alcohol abuse be prevented? The Community Preventative Services Task Force, which is an independent, non-federal, volunteer body of public health and prevention experts, recommends several evidence-based community strategies to reduce harmful alcohol use. These strategies include the regulation of alcohol outlet density, which refers to the number and concentration of alcohol retailers, such as bars, restaurants, or liquor stores within a specific area. There's also increasing of alcohol taxes, which can include wholesale and sales tax and the price of alcohol. Taxes can be levied at a federal, state, or local level on beer, wine, and distilled spirits or hard alcohol. There's the dram shop liability, which is also known as the commercial host liability, that refers to the laws that hold alcohol retail establishments liable for any injuries or harm caused by illegal service to intoxicated or underage customers. This includes like a bartender over-serving somebody who's already clearly intoxicated, or serving a minor or somebody who has a fake ID. Another preventative measure includes maintaining limits on days of sale. States or communities may limit the days that alcohol can legally be served or sold. You can maintain the limits on hours as well, so states or communities may limit the hours that alcohol can be legally served or sold, which is why, for example, in Oregon, liquor sales stop at 2 a.m. Electronic screening and brief intervention is an electronic device to facilitate the delivery of key elements in traditional screening. At the minimum, this involves screening individuals for excessive drinking, delivering a brief intervention in which provides personalized feedback about the risks and consequences of excessive drinking. There's also the enhanced enforcement of laws prohibiting sales to minors. This program is initiated to increase compliance checks at alcohol retailers such as bars, restaurants, and liquor stores for laws that prohibiting sale of alcohol to minors and to help limit that underage drinking. There are many resources for help and support with binge drinking and alcohol abuse. Several of the websites that are nationally recognized for alcohol treatment, alcohol guidance, and rehab and recovery are listed here on this page. It includes the CDC, American Addiction Centers, alcohol treatment, and alcohol rehab guides and recovery rehab guides. It's always a good idea to contact your local resources as well through your state or local government, through the mental health sections or human services. If you know anybody who is struggling, if you or yourself are struggling, at least go look at the information, and when you're ready, reach out. It's always confidential, and it's always people there to help you. There's no shame in getting help. At this point, please stop here and take the post test to assess what you have learned about binge drinking. The post test can be accessed by clicking the link accompanying this presentation. If you would like to print out this handout with information regarding binge drinking and the resources that are available, please use the accompanying